What up, dude bro? Spider-Avenger Miller here. Today, we're doing kind of a different video. What a nice way to start off 2025. So, you guys have seen me test with these a lot, and I thought, why not give them a dedicated review? You guys know this dart as the Worker Heavy Dart. Now, Worker darts have been a staple in our hobby for a while. They've made many generations, they've made many different types, they've made bamboo darts, and halfling darts are becoming one of the more standards that you could see on shelves as a dart that you could purchase. When these started coming on the shelves, modders and also enthusiasts in the hobbies lost their mind. So I thought, why not do a little bit of testing with them? Because I've used them quite a bit, they're very fun darts, and also Worker darts, and Worker just has some of the best quality products out there. So I thought I'd give these a little bit of a test, and what I will be testing them out of. So this video will be kind of a formatted of chrono test, accuracy test, and just what the overall darts are. And of course, what we're going to put these against is the most convenient dart on the market, besides Worker Gen 3s, the Adventure Force Pro Darts, which we'll get into those at the end of the video. But the blasters we will be testing today, the Worker Harrier, and don't worry, I'll be doing a video on this very soon, and the Nerf Strife X. Better to test this kind of stuff out of a flywheeler and also a Springer. So why don't we get into it first with chrono tests.
So apologies in advance, the performance you're seeing on screen was a little inconsistent because of the lighting outside, but with Ember Darts I was getting roughly an average of about 200 feet per second. Now Ember Darts are not really the most consistent thing out there, so I was getting some low shots into the 170s, but once it kind of started getting a little more like congruent, it was starting to land somewhere around 200 feet per second, which is still a really great velocity number for this blaster with the spring included. So to be honest, even though they were inconsistent, I'm still impressed. But then once I switched over to Worker Gen Heavies, these were kind of getting a little bit better, but again, the lighting outside was just kind of screwing with the chronograph, so it became a little difficult to do chrono data. But once I was getting a little more lighting, it was getting roughly around 180 to about 190, so still great performance out of this blaster nonetheless. I would say the Worker Gen Heavies are good, especially for if you're wanting more accurate shots, but for the performance that the blaster has, they do perform just a wee bit softer than what you might like, but they actually perform a little bit more accurately. As you could see, the performance is pretty decent on them. Then once you move over to the Strife X, I was getting roughly an average of about 150 feet per second with Ember Darts, but again, these were kind of being a little inconsistent with the velocity, but still, once I got used to it, it was getting roughly around 150 feet per second, which is a little more difficult, but honestly, not that bad. And again, apologies for the inconsistencies you were seeing here. It was just getting a little difficult to get chrono data just because the lighting outside was not really helping our case. One thing that sucks about my chronograph is it takes an immense amount of lighting, and the lighting outside was getting a little rough.
Now from the chills of the outside, as you saw, those are pretty good numbers. Well, at least for the Harrier. The Strife X had a little bit of issues, mostly just due to the fact that lights dimming out outside. Daylight saving sucks. But now, if you don't blame me about the performance, why don't we go over to the accuracy test? So now we're doing a little bit of the accuracy test, and apologies for not being in the studio. Doing tests like this in an apartment complex are a little difficult, so it's why I'm back at the version 4 of the Spider's Nest. I don't really know how to describe it, but we got the Jupiter target down there. You remember the Jupiter target. We'll look at it over there. It looks pretty. However, for this, I'm actually going to remove the Scar Barrel. Scar Barrel is great for accuracy, but I want to test solely the darts. The Scar Barrel really helps, but it's also dependent on the type of dart you use. So I will be just holding this as straight as I can, and I will be trying to find my sight picture, but I'm also going to see how the grouping is, seeing how many get on target. So I'm going to start out with Adventure Force Pro Darts. I'd say that's pretty good grouping. Now for the worker heavies, these should be a little bit more accurate, but also because they're heavier, they perform just a bit softer. But surprised only one of them missed, but it also sucks that the Harrier doesn't really have very good iron sight, so I'm having to use just the front post. But honestly, not bad. I don't know how that one shot missed. I don't know if it went under the target or it hit it, but I didn't hear it. But it's a good thing with that reactive target. Alright, now the Strife X with Ember Darts, but I will be adding a stock on there. Mostly just to kind of keep a nice point of contact for me to aim in. Now, this will be a little more difficult because this only has like one iron sight. So we'll see how well I do with this one. Okay, that was a little bit of an issue on my part just because aiming this is really weird. Because you think looking down the iron sight is enough, but apparently you're holding it too high. So you have to really kind of adjust that, which we'll see how well that changes with the heavies. Now seeing how it does with the heavies, seeing if I can get that placement. My God, it really sucks to aim with this. I am telling you what. I should have gone with this as a pistol, because as a pistol, I get that so much better. But because there's only one iron sight on here, I had to completely recalibrate the aim. But once I got the placements, again, phenomenal groupings. I think the only downside, again, with using a flywheel like this was, of course, the fact that they didn't put a rear notch in the frickin' Strife. And also probably because the stock I had here was not really long enough. Even though we all love this stock. It's a great stock. And it is properly lengthed. So that might have just been a skill issue on my side, but also this thing kind of sucks to aim with the stock. So overall conclusions of the worker heavy darts, these things are awesome. They feel really great when you hold them, and then when you fire them, you do see how accurate they actually are. The reason why I chose to do the testing with these ones is because, of course, I don't have Worker Gen 3 darts yet. You're going to have to be patient with me. Also, these are probably the most accessible darts on the market, as people almost everywhere can go into a Walmart and get these. And while they were good for their time, they're really kind of starting to show how garbage they actually are. Mostly just in a little bit of the quality, but also their inconsistencies. In most blasters, they perform terribly, or they don't perform very accurately. Sometimes they'll squib in the barrels, or sometimes they just completely veer off into another direction. However, with these, I've been really impressed with these in the testing that I've had, because yes, performance does get dropped, but not by that much that you would think. The head is a little bit heavier. I haven't measured it. However, because of it, I see very great accuracy out of it, but also just a very fun dart overall. And honestly, great job with these, Worker. These are amazing darts. But that's my video for today. Thank you so much for watching, Dude Bros. If you want to purchase Worker Gen heavy darts, I will try to see if I can put a purchase link in the description box below. However, just go to Out of Darts. You can get them for pretty cheap there. I would say get them from Worker themselves, but they charge like $30 on their website. I'd really recommend go check out of Darts for these darts, just because you can get these for like 16 bucks, and that's a really great deal for 200 of them. But much love, blast on, and stay tactical.